Hi there, I'm back. I'm Fernanda Paiva, Hitchhiking Stars, and bringing you some insights about the lunations. So today we're going to be talking about the new moon. So the new moon in Pisces will be happening at 28 degrees Pisces on the 18th of March. Again, the 18th of March with a little window here. In particular, if you are in Europe, this will be the early hours of the 19th of March. Or if you are in New Zealand and Australia as well, which obviously has a big time difference. So between the 18th and the 19th of March, that's when this new moon will be taking place. And this is the first new moon after eclipse season. And there are some interesting particularities of this new moon as well, and I have a strong feeling about this new moon as the beginning of the beginning. It's the beginning of the beginning because I really had a very strong feeling that January, February, and most of March 2026 wasn't yet 2026 because we had so much to review and revisit, with planets moving retrograde and planets is still having to ingress the new sign as well that they were going to ingress in this year. So there are a few different reasons astrologically that I really feel that 2026 is going to kickstart with Aries season this year, which has a resonance obviously with the new astrological year as well. And that will be happening 2 days after this new moon. So this new moon happens on the 18th for the US and for South America as well. So in 2 days, or a day for some other places in the world, we have the start of Aries season and the beginning of the new astrological year. And like I said, I really feel the beginning of 2026 as well. So in a way, new moons as usual are new lunar cycles. They represent a new cycle, the beginning of something where we can plant seeds, where we can set intentions, etc. And this is really, really emphasized, right? Now, we have, during this new moon, the only planet that's still retrograde is Mercury. Everything else is moving direct, right? So Pluto, Neptune, Saturn, Chiron, Uranus, Jupiter, everything is moving direct. So Mercury is still retrograde. However, Mercury will be turning direct in 2 days. So together with the beginning of Aries season, Mercury also turns direct. So it's the final 2 days or a day and a half of Mercury moving backwards, and Mercury is forming an exact conjunction with the North Node. So Mercury is at 8 degrees Pisces, retrograde, and conjoined the North Node at 8 degrees Pisces. So during this new moon, that's a powerful signature. That's a really, really powerful signature. And what I think here is that the intentions that we're going to be setting needs to take into consideration some of the lessons that we've been having for the last year and a half almost, when the lunar nodes shifted into Virgo and Pisces. With Mercury being conjoined that North Node is a very karmic placement here, giving us the possibility to tap into important information, tap into evolutionary information. Now, it's in Pisces. So it's not really about rationalizing anything, but really sitting in meditation, guided meditations, ecstatic dance, any kind of spiritual trance or spiritual experience that we can help facilitate will help us to gain those insights, will help us to have access to some of those thoughts and ideas. What have we been doing so far that took us towards the Piscean direction, that helped us let it go of some of the shadows of Virgo, right? What have we been doing in the last year that really helped us? We can really gain some insight around this. In terms of this new moon's aspects, which is another layer I like to talk about, we have, again, I think emphasis on evolutionary here, because this moon is forming an exact sextile to Uranus. So there's a sextile to planet Uranus at 28 Taurus, and the new moon is happening at 28 Pisces. So there is a sense here of gifts and moving ahead and being able, again, to tap into those insights of the past, insights of the lessons that we've been learning. It's not just welcoming the new, but welcoming the new by being conscious of all the things that we have recently learned, we have recently worked with, so we can implement in this new cycle, right? The other aspect, or the other important aspect here, is this new moon will be conjoined Neptune, especially Neptune, because Neptune is at 1 degree Aries. So it's a kind of an out of signs conjunction. So 28 Pisces conjoined Neptune at 1 Aries, and Saturn as well at 3 degrees Aries. So this new moon is also close to the Neptune Saturn conjunction here. And again, for me, that represents the beginning of the beginning. The emphasis on that sort of beginning, fresh kind of energy. And, you know, when it comes to the Neptune side of the conjunction, that is a double whammy of Pisces. Neptune rules Pisces. And I do feel there's a lot of that dreamy, spiritual, higher self, higher knowledge that's really under the spotlight here. But, however, the conjunction with Saturn as well is saying do something about it. Be practical about it as well. And perhaps this is bringing the polarity of Virgo, right? Virgo is an earth sign as well. And it kind of resonates with that Saturn energy a little bit, even though Saturn is in Aries. But on the principle of Saturn means, Saturn has that more grounded, structured, right? Spreadsheets, be organized kind of feeling. And the same with the sextile to Uranus in Taurus. I mean, Uranus is in Taurus, is an earth sign, Taurus. So again, it's like, yes, it's magical, yes, it's, you know, very Piscean, but it's also about what we do with it. It's also about how we bring those spiritual values into our day-to-day life, into what we actually do, into how we actually create things here. So that's a very important point. And I think this is also reflected a little bit here by another aspect that we have, which is not really the new moon, but other planetary aspects. And that's Venus. So we have a planet Venus, the planet of relationships and values and feminine energy. So we have Venus in Aries, Venus at 15 degrees Aries, and Jupiter at 15 degrees Cancer. So we have Venus in square to Jupiter in Cancer. Now, why is this relevant? Because Jupiter is the traditional ruler of Pisces, so he's ruling a lot of the planets and points here of this new moon. And Venus in Aries is representing a little bit of that Saturn-Neptune conjunction, because they are happening in Aries. So it's that energy of the emergence of the individual, Aries, but it's still considering the emotional connections, the spiritual unity of it all, that we're all feeling it. So how are we going to resolve this conflict? There is a conflict here. There's a square between the two. So how are we going to resolve this? How are we going to be able to step into individuality? And listen, this is a question for the whole Neptune-Saturn conjunction. The whole, for this whole new cycle that's happening of Neptune and Saturn, which is beyond this new moon, right? Because it is happening in Aries. So that whole feeling, that whole new cycle here on like, right, how do you do that? How do you create something new, still, for the collective, with the awareness of the collective, with the awareness that we're all interconnected, but through your own individuality, through your own courage, through your pioneering spirit, right? And then the individual becomes a divine spark. It's something of God that can only be expressed through you. And that's the Pisces Saturn here. That's the Pisces New Moon with that Aries, Saturn and Neptune, and represented on that Venus, Jupiter as well. So that's important. Now, the Sabian symbol for this new moon as well is light breaking into many colors through a prism. I do really like prisms. I talk about that a lot. I love the idea of a crystal and many facets, and how reality is multi-layered. I often use that imagery when I'm teaching astrology. And I just got both my cats on my lap. But prism, or prisma in Portuguese, has a connection to clarity, to transformation through revelation of hidden complexity, and analyzing situations through a different lens as well. So this is all can be taken into consideration with the new intentions that we set for this new moon, right? Looking at situations with a new lens, deeper truth, diversity as well, complexity. And I think it's a beautiful, beautiful imagery here. Now, in terms of the tarot cards, we obviously have the Moon card, which is the card associated with Pisces. So, oh, my cat just fell. Oh, no. So this, the card of the Moon here, and you can have a look at that from many different decks. So look at that card of the Moon through multiple perspectives here. But it is the higher self, right? It is the third eye. It is the knowing without knowing. That's super important here for the intentions that we are setting. And the minor arcana card would be the Ten of Cups, because it's the third final decan of Pisces. So that imagery of the Ten of Cups is a beautiful one as well. And we can have it out of the deck for the day of the new moon, for while we're meditating, while we're setting intentions for this beginning of the beginning. All right? So that's it. That's what I had to share with you. I hope you have a magical new moon, very inspirational new cycle, and beginning of the new astrological year as well. And I will be speaking to you all soon. So a lot of love to you all, and bye-bye for now.